That's oh, maybe. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're on our United States Kingdoms of the Western world. Remember, if you're watching this in the future, please skip the first 5 minutes while we set up the stream. As always, I have my lovely co-host Andrew here, and next time we're gonna get this girl named Kenzie. Hopefully, she joins us on the stream. We shall try. Andrew, say hi.
What's up, dudes?
Okay, perfect. I can hear you.
Yeah, I had myself muted because the it was so laggy in the Discord channels. I just had to mute myself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm gonna put the link on YouTube.
Yeah, go ahead. Like I said, I'm just watching the end of this game. You're gonna have to give me a minute.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We're gonna skip the first 5 minutes anyway.
Oh, nice. Is there anyone in the stream yet?
No, not yet. Just give me a second. Oh shit! Hello. Yeah, I'm not even on my phone yet, and we got 5 viewers, so it's one of them's not me.
Well, one of them is me, but
Good. Hello. Hey, see, that's the girl, Mackenzie Barrett. Guys, we got to get her on the live stream. She'd make a great co-host as well. She would be awesome.
I agree.
Guys, seriously, pressure her to get on the stream. Oh yeah, it is the 1st of November. See? It's people
Hmm.
like Kenzie that remind us that it's the first day of November.
Well, I knew it was the first day, but
Your name is on your YouTube. It says Kenzie or Mackenzie. Punjabi Playboy? Okay, I wonder who that. Yep. Okay, I wonder who that is. Robin, hey.
ooh, nice play.
Hey, don't
That's
forget,
pretty.
Discord GG Saturation A. If you're not in the server, guys, yeah, please join now. For the first 500 members of the server, there's a tiny special privilege. But for the first 10,000 members of the servers, there is no special privilege. But you should still join the server anyway. I'll be right back.
Mm.
I know. Just want to press like it. Just a like, baby girl. I want to kiss you. I know, but just press like.
I'm not gonna press like if I'm not into something. So like, if you wanted to something I like, would you like it? No, you would dislike it, right? If there's something I like and you don't like, you would dislike it, right?
No, like if you want me to. If I'm supporting you, I'll like it. Sure. Because if it's your dream, you'll be a supportive person. So I press like on this. Whatever you want. Which I literally liked all your pictures. I like all your YouTube videos. I like all your YouTube videos. Well, if you did, I would. Even if it's on me, because that's what being a supportive friend would. I thought you would. You can't even press fucking like.
You know you wear the same thing every week.
You know,
And people notice.
you're pissing me off right now. You can't even press the fucking like button. Seriously. got to be a little bit supportive. Just like
I'm supportive to a certain extent.
I'm done. Whatever. I'm going live.
Always push the conversation.
Because I'm in the middle of a fucking.
Okay, then why are you asking me things when you're in the middle of a live stream?
Can't even press the like button.
Like, why are you asking
We're gonna
me?
talk about this, but you can't even press the like button.
See, you're not even answering my question.
We're gonna talk about this.
Fine, let's have a conversation. If you really want to.
Library. Literally.
Okay, then don't talk to me.
Okay.
Like,
Hello. Yo, Robin, you got a cool thing. Oh wait, that's the Marine Corps logo. I legit thought that was. I was like, that looks so cool. Like the stream. Thank you, Sanjabi. I got Sunny and Punjabi mixed up, so it's a Sanjabi. Andrew, you're muted.
Hey, can you hear me?
Now I can hear perfectly.
Yeah, are we doing COVID segment?
Yep, we're at the 6-minute mark. That's pretty sexy. 46 million people in the entire world got coronavirus. 47 million people.
So,
But only 1 million deaths. Wow. Yeah, honestly, I think if we look at this in the future, like history.
look at active cases.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that. But I'm just saying, before we look at active cases, I'm saying if we look back on this in the future, I think we're generally going to regret this. I think we genuinely, as a society, we're going to regret. And if anything, this I wouldn't be surprised if this was all a hoax by the Chinese government. Well, obviously, the coronavirus is a real thing. But
Sure. The disease itself, yeah.
The disease itself is real, but our overreaction, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a hoax by the Chinese government just to stall the Western economy. I would genuinely not be surprised. And because, yeah, like, look at this. We are overly spending, overly reacting to this, and for only like 1.2 million deaths. 34 million people recovered. Active cases. Oh my God, 12 million active cases? Yeah, but only 85,000 are serious or critical.
Correct.
And this is the globe. I know, less than one. This is the global numbers. This is if this was just America, or if it was just the West, I'd be like, okay, wow, this is too much. The world. This is sad. We are.
Well, you can look up the stats on the West. I bet you it's even lower because of better healthcare.
Oh, we'll get to that. Because this is a global thing, and yeah, no, I think we're deeply going to regret this. Right now, if I look at, let's see, death per 1 million.
I need to make the thing bigger. Hold on.
Here, no, I can make it more quality.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, guys, this Tuesday at 7 p.m. we're going to do a live stream following the election. And we're going to do 24 hours of election post-election. So literally, we'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to go 24 hours after the election. So literally, 7 p.m. on election day until 7 p.m. on the day after the election. Because this election is going to be one of the weirdest elections where the 24 hours after the election is going to matter more than the 24 hours during the election. So, again, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 3rd, we're doing a 24-hour live stream. Please join us. I'm sure there's a lot of more popular channels doing a stream. That's why we're doing it 24 hours post-election.
Wait. What from what time to what time, though?
So 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on election day until 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the day after the election.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's why, because listen, most YouTube channels are going to do a 24-hour stream already. And we're not going to compete with that, obviously. So I'm literally doing a post because the post election is much more valuable this election.
True.
Right now, can you read me the top 10 worst countries?
All right. We have San Marino, Peru, Belgium, Andorra, Spain, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile. Go down a little bit.
Nope, that's it.
Ecuador, and then the USA. It's interesting to note that literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 are all in South America right now.
I didn't even notice that. Nice pattern recognition there.
Kind of interesting.
You're right. There is more over there.
Well, I think it's because of access to healthcare. Like South America doesn't have the greatest healthcare, so.
Yeah, no, that is true. And again, this is deaths though. We're looking at deaths per million. In terms of if you do total cases per million.
Yeah.
We never look at this because I don't think it's that important how many cases you have. This chat is mainly going to be about the limits of free speech, but we'll get to them. Andorra, Bahrain, Qatar, Aruba, Belgium, French Guiana, Israel, Vatican City, Czechia.
Belgium is in the top 5 for cases and deaths, which means Corona is growing there.
Belgium is fucked, yeah, because they got a bunch of new deaths. Belgium is really screwed. Belgium's going to be... And I think Belgium's one of the powerhouses of Europe. So, yeah, with them falling, it'll be interesting.
Can you find India really quick? I want to see new cases for India.
We'll get to that. I'm going down. I'm obviously going to click on our favorite countries. Oh, Canada's 39. This is on death per million.
Right.
And, okay, so the world average. There's 64 countries above the world average. And then going lower, to countries lower than the world average. India's 87th. You got a bunch of new cases.
So they had about 46.
Yeah. India did an interesting way. I wouldn't say it's the best method, but it'll be interesting. India at first started with the most authoritarian lockdown. Literally indoors. Everyone has to stay indoors. Like food delivery. And the government provided like subsidies for food delivery services. But now everyone's back out. So India had a sudden surge, which makes sense because they did the most aggressive lockdowns. Well, obviously, I think China did the most aggressive because China literally cut off a whole city from the rest of the nation, which is the most authoritarian shit ever.
Well, it seems to me that India's lockdown actually was fairly effective. Now that people are back out, cases are rising, obviously. But cases are rising, one, at a lower rate than they were pre-lockdown. And they went down significantly. So during the lockdown, India's cases were very low in terms of population percentage. So I think the lockdown actually worked. I'm not saying I support it, but I do think that it worked.
No, there's a good argument to be made for India. The main issue is, again, all these problems with the corona is in terms of governmental power. And
correct.
That's the thing that we're going to touch on this stream. We're going to talk about how our beloved Prime Minister of Canada said there's limits of free speech, which I'm genuinely shocked that people are genuinely shocked.
Well,
wait. Trudeau put the first compelled speech law in Canadian history. You guys expect him to be pro-free speech? Why is people surprised that he said there are limits of free speech? This guy was already anti-free speech. This isn't a new thing. But go ahead.
So I do think there are limits to free speech. Like, I don't think you should be allowed to call in a bomb threat on a local movie theater, right? And then claim, oh, it's my free speech. Because it falls within the rule of law, right? I think you should be allowed to say or do anything that does not fall within the rule of law.
Right. And see, Andrew, this is what I love about you. And this is why you're literally my favorite libertarian on earth, is because you give the most reasonable answer to limits of free speech. We're going to pull up the article with our beloved Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. If he literally said anything like, oh, we shouldn't be advocating for genocide, I'd be like, okay, that's true. Trudeau's right. He's right. We shouldn't be advocating for genocide. 100%, I'm with you there. But this is what he said. We will always defend freedom of expression. Bullshit.
Wait, can you pull up the article, though? Like, put it on the stream?
It's on the stream.
Perfect.
Okay. So he's like, yeah, we will always defend freedom of speech. Bullshit. To question about the right to show caricature of the Prophet Muhammad, as Charlie Hebdo did. First of all, the fact that, again, when someone talks about a magazine cartoon and you answer that with there's free speech is not without limits, that's a big issue. That right there is a big issue. He said, we owe it to ourselves to act with respect for others and to seek not to arbitrarily or unnecessarily injure those whom we are sharing a society and the planet.
It
and the
depends on-
planet. This,
No.
Oh, this bitch
This
said
is
planet.
the point you brought up earlier, though. Is it depends on how you define respect. Like you said earlier, some cultures define respect all the different cultures define that in a completely different way. So that's what's problematic about this. You either support free speech or you don't. And like obviously Trudeau doesn't, but you can't just like try to walk this arbitrary line between two subjective things.
Well, I know, and that's the problem, is that respect is not an objective thing. We can't say
Correct.
that's
Yeah.
there are different. Yeah, and that's why again I tell everybody you guys should definitely join our Discord server, because we have conversations like this on the Discord server all the time. And that's the thing. When it comes to society, planet, culture, there are different cultures that have different things that are considered respectful. Okay, and some cultures walking without your shoes in the household is respectful, while other cultures it's disrespectful to keep your shoes on. So it's literally you can't have a globalist. This is the problem with globalism. We can't have one global government for the world. We can have a globalized trade economy in the world. Hell yeah, and we should have that. That benefits everybody. But a globalized culture, we can't. Globalized government, we can't. Globalized military, we can't. Different countries have different values and different things that they consider good and evil.
I agree. The only way to do it would be to impose an authoritarian culture on everyone and then say, oh, you have to follow these rules and you have to follow this economic structure, which obviously is stupid.
Exactly.
But,
you think the Nazis thought they were the bad guys? I'm sure most of them thought they were doing the good thing for their race.
But they tried that. They tried that. That was like, well, not the first time in history. Romans kind of tried it too, but
yeah,
it was the first like real 20th century attempt to impose limits on culture.
Oh well, yeah. Well, they took it past culture and took it to the racial level. But that's the point.
But it's the same idea.
Exactly. So you can't do that. And now here's the thing. And it says, in a pluralist, diverse, respectful society like ours, we owe it to ourselves to be aware of the impact of our words, of our actions on others, particularly those communities who are still experiencing a great deal of discrimination. Oh, shut the fuck up, Justin Trudeau. This guy is literally going to create Nazis and not realize it. Right now, there's so many Christians that are feeling attacked, and statistically speaking, the most persecuted minority in the world are Christians. This is actually a fact that people need to know about. Right now, majority of minorities in the world that are being persecuted, targeted, killed, ethnically cleansed, kicked out, attacked, or imprisoned are Christians.
Generally genocided, yeah.
Yeah, it is Christian. So if you really want to talk about who feels attacked as a Christian, and now someone like Trudeau is pretty much attacking Christians of Canada because he's pretty much saying, oh, these communities, and he literally, by communities, he literally means everyone that's not a straight white Christian man. That's literally what he means. It's like, oh, they feel a great deal of discrimination. As he had done the day before with the leader of the European Union. Oh, what a surprise. He likes the European Union. Another, I would always call them, they're not a... They're not really a trade.
What?
European Union is not a trade union. They're past trade. They're almost like a super nation. It's almost like the Roman Empire, actually. What'd you say?
No, I didn't understand why he said appalling and appalling. Like what?
That I don't know. I don't know.
That's kind of a weird quote, is it not?
Trudeau insisted on condemning the recent attack and recent appalling terrorist attacks. Wow, it's appalling and appalling.
I don't understand that.
I don't know. He's stupid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he condemns the terrorist attacks. That's fine. But yeah, he wants to allow Muslims into his country.
Well, that's the issue. Is he said, "While we stand with French friends who are going through extremely difficult times," he said, "the people were stabbed to death on Thursday in church in Nice, in southern France, by a Tunisian man who was apprehended." Apprehended? This guy should be executed. Anger erupted in Middle East after the attacks against France and President Emmanuel Macron vilified for having defended the right to publish cartoons in France. Of course, what? I thought people were mad at Macron for saying, "Oh, that's extremist Muslim," and I thought Muslims were mad, like, "Oh, that's not a Muslim. He's not Muslim. He's just extremist." Even though no, he is an extremist Muslim. He is a Muslim and he is an extremist. He is both. You can't say, "Oh, he's not a Muslim, but he's extremist." No, but Macron he was only defending cartoons. Macron wasn't even criticizing Islam. Yeah, fuck Emmanuel Macron. I actually thought he was criticizing Islam.
No. He's just defending free speech.
Oh, God. Yeah, because he was paying a tribute to Samuel Paty, a teacher beheaded in the streets for showing caricature of Prophet Muhammad in a class? Oh, my God. See, this is why I like doing these streams live, because I wasn't aware of this. This man was a teacher who was beheaded in the street.
Yeah.
For showing the caricatures of Prophet Muhammad in class. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's in a class of freedom of expression, no less. What the fuck?
Oh.
That's hilarious. Like, obviously it's horrible, but
I mean, yeah, no, I'm saying it's funny. Just
the irony of it.
The irony, yeah.
Ridiculous.
Oh, so it bothers them, hey? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start showing caricatures of Prophet Muhammad. As a Muslim reformist, I'm going to show that it's okay. And if it pisses them off, then it pisses them off. But yeah, it's sad that he would actually comment on it. Emmanuel Macron is literally known as the Justin Trudeau of the European Union. And it is sad that, yeah, this is what happens. Okay.
Well, Macron is still better than Trudeau. At least he appreciates free speech more than Trudeau does.
He does. I'm impressed though. He does appreciate it more than Trudeau, and some would even argue France was the first free speech nation. Although I don't know. I think UK. I mean, right now the only free speech nation in the world is USA, and maybe Switzerland.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say Swiss. Yeah,
maybe no, because I heard in Switzerland you can't actually like have a swastika tattoo. Or something, and I know, like, who wants a swastika tattoo? But still, it's your right to put a tattoo on your fucking body. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, I don't know. I heard like the difference between frowned upon versus illegal. Like, if I have a swastika tattoo and people like hate me for that, people should hate me for that.
Well, that's how it is with, like, being gay in Russia, right? Is like if you're gay in Russia, you're kind of looked down upon, and like you're basically looked down upon. But it's not illegal to be gay in Russia, right?
Well, at least I hope it's not. But yeah,
no, it's not.
We don't check. But yeah,
you know what? I know for a fact it's not.
It's well. I want to thank a senator from our server, Sunny, for giving us that article. And if anybody wants to join us live, that's the link. But yeah, so let's talk about the limits of free speech. I think you pretty much said it best. Obviously, things like bomb threats,
right,
aren't really expressing anything.
It's saying, not, like, that's not free speech. You're just breaking the law at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you say stuff like, I want to kill insert group of people here, again, that's not free speech.
See, I'm iffy on that. I think that could be free speech.
No. If we're talking about if we're having a discussion on history or even if we're having a hypothetical discussion, like if you and I were talking and said, you know what, maybe if there was no Muslims in the world, there'd be less terrorists. We're not advocating for the genocide of Muslims, but we're just hypothetically speaking. I would say that's
free speech, definitely.
Yeah. But what would you say then? What is your issue with saying genocide is bad?
I don't know. I'm very 50-50 on this issue because I just, man, I don't know. Because I'm very obviously pro free speech, but I'm not sure. It depends on intention. And that's why it's hard, is because I think if someone goes out and posts on Facebook, right, or a social media platform that they want to go and kill Trump, right, I think it should be investigated.
Yeah.
But if it's obvious that the person doesn't have any real intention to kill Trump, then they should not be arrested for that speech. So it just depends on intention almost, which is problematic when it comes to legislation.
Well, but here's the thing, though. A stand-up comedian is obviously literally a stand-up comedian. They're joking.
Right,
So
right.
they should never be investigated. And to make simple legislation, if there's ever a confusion on if something should be free speech or not, I think you should always pick the side of the free speech. If there's ever a confusion, go with the free speech argument. The difference is, though, if somebody's not a comedian and they're literally posting on their Facebook, I want to go kill X group of people here, they should be discriminated. Not discriminated. They should be investigated. I think they should.
Well, you have the same opinion as I do.
Exactly. So, but to me, there's a difference between investigation and arresting.
Well,
if I'm a
oh yeah. No, I agree. I don't think they should be arrested for that, but they should be investigated. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's and that's the issue with Trudeau, is if Trudeau didn't, he could have been better. But I doubt that's his opinion. I doubt his opinion is even about investigation. I guarantee you he wants people to be arrested if they draw an art drawing like that. Like there was Emmanuel Macron literally ended up showing the picture of the artist or whatever, while Trudeau, I doubt would ever show that. This is a sad day that this free speech is being debated. And here's the thing: I used to be a very pro immigration guy. I still am to a very tiny sense, like skilled immigrants. But one of the things that the far right always spews is like, man, all these immigrants, they're going to take away our guns and they're going to take away our free speech. And I was always called the far right, hi, you're crazy. They're not going to take away your free speech. Literally, Trudeau is saying it's because we have such a diverse multicultural society in Canada that we should have limits on free speech. So Trudeau is literally making the case for the far right, which I always attack the far right for that. I'm like, nah, I tell the far, you're wrong. Just because we have immigrants that are doctors, they're not going to take away our free speech. No, you're wrong. And now Trudeau's saying, yeah, because we have literally multicultural, we should take away free speech. It's so funny when the radical left makes the case for the radical right. It's
because the radical right and the radical left actually agree on a lot of things.
Oh yeah, I mean horseshoe theory.
Well, I want to get into. So I don't want to change the subject on you, but I want to get into like the idea of whether businesses should be allowed to. The conversation we were having earlier, essentially, like whether businesses should be allowed to discriminate against certain races or genders, ethnicity, whatever.
Oh yeah, that's an important. Well, I mean, that's a very important thing we need to talk about, because this is talk about the limits of free speech. Go ahead. Right.
So my opinion is that I think if you're a private business and you don't want to sell to, say, gay people or black, whatever, if you don't want to sell to a certain ethnicity, then you should be allowed to do that, because you're a private business and you can choose what to do with your business. Punjabi is saying he wants to jump in the stream.
I know. It says your device isn't connected.
Are you on a phone?
Your guests will need to. Your guests need to connect with their mic/cam before you can add them to the stream. So it doesn't let me add until your cam is added.
Yeah, you have to accept the permissions. But if you can figure it out, yeah, we'll gladly have you on stream.
Of course.
But what I was saying, so
yeah, so if a business doesn't want to invite them, oh yeah, you're in.
There we go. Okay, perfect.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. But
okay,
yeah,
I did want to add something, but yeah, Andrew, finish off your point.
No, I was saying if you're a private business, you should be allowed to do what you want, essentially. If like, in fact, okay, actually, I have a point to make. So, this happened actually in Texas and Indiana, and actually all over the U.S. Is there were businesses that they were like wedding businesses, like whether they bake cakes or they do photography or whatever. All these businesses were like, oh, we won't serve gay weddings, or not all of them, but some of those businesses were like, oh, we won't serve gay weddings. And they literally went out of business because everyone boycotted them. And they lost profits from not doing gay weddings. So to me, like, the idea that you're not going to serve a certain group of people because you're a bigoted racist is not conducive to good business. So therefore, generally, either if it does happen, you go out of business, or you, I forget the term. I was saying either you go out of business or you're basically completely marginalized.
So for one thing, I totally agree with you. I think in the end, when it's all said and done, free markets do prevail. But
For
I have
sure.
a question for you. Would
Go
you
ahead.
agree that progress slows down if we do allow businesses to discriminate or say no to whoever they like? And my example here would be the Civil Rights Act, right? One of the biggest parameters was that you can't have discrimination in the workplace. All right.
Correct.
So, like, before civil rights, blacks were sitting at the back of the bus. They weren't allowed to sit in certain restaurants. And I agree with you. Over time, those restaurants that discriminated against African Americans, they would go out of business. But do you think progress was sped up when it was legally mandated?
Wait,
Yes.
what kind of progress? No. If you're talking
Economic
about progress. Okay. Economic
Economic
progress
and
or
technological
humanitarian
So,
progress?
honestly, like, my point was like social progress, but I would argue that economic progress would speed up as well.
I think so too. Yes, I agree.
Wait. By forcing businesses to not discriminate, you think
No.
it's sped up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a bigger market.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, go ahead, Sonny.
Yeah, so when you're a business and you're allowing essentially everyone to participate in your business, you have a bigger market. More money is cycling through the country. And that's how you avoid inflation, essentially, when money is cycling through the country.
No, that's not correct.
Well, yeah, it is. So, like, when money is stagnated, it raises the price of things.
No, inflation would
That's
happen
not-
anyway, though. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
I'm not denying. I'm not denying inflation wouldn't occur.
Wait.
The
Let's
whole
not make this
point-
about this.
The whole point.
Sonny, just finish your point. We're not going to talk about inflation. Just
Okay, yeah, okay. Quickly about inflation. The whole point is to slow it down. But anyways, what I'm saying is when everyone is participating in the business, you have more money cycling through your economy, and so economic progress would speed up.
Yeah, I agree, and it did actually.
Well, let me see.
But that doesn't mean that I don't think businesses should be able to make their own rules about how they conduct their own business. Whether or not it slows down economic progress is not relevant to me. It's about personal freedom.
No, I agree. On a moral standpoint, I do agree with freedom.
Right.
This is the thing. The leader of McAfee is a Libertarian Party member.
McAfee?
A security company?
The internet.
Thank you, Barry.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought.
And his wife is black, and he's a white guy, and he's really white guy. He's not like one of those white guys who like say they're white. No, he's really white. And
he's like a nerdy Silicon Valley type white guy.
Yeah, and his wife is black, and he opposed the Civil Rights Act because he doesn't believe companies should be forced to hire people they don't like.
No, I disagree.
No. Listen, let me just get to this. And I think he's right. And listen, this isn't like the argument like, oh, I'm not racist, my best friend's black. Come on. The guy is married to a black woman. I doubt he hates black people at all. Okay, why would he be married to a black woman if he hates black people?
But the argument isn't about race. It's about preferential hiring.
Exactly.
Race is example.
I'm saying like he's okay with not hiring someone. He's okay with this. Like he says companies should be allowed to discriminate. Obviously, he's not going to. Okay. Obviously, he married a black woman. Why would he do? But he said, and I agree with him, even though it sounds horrible. But the problem is though, this is why I separated the economic argument from the society humanitarian argument. I think if you allow companies to hire whoever they want, it would actually speed up economic progress.
Companies are already allowed to hire whoever they want, though.
No, I know, but companies can't fire people based on race, which I think.
No, they can't.
Well, okay, so
wait. Let me get to my point.
Yeah,
humanitarian-wise, this is the one time I would say the humanitarian and the economic argument would split, because humanitarian-wise, I think it's horrible if we allow companies to fire people just based on their race or sexual orientation or whatever. But economic progress-wise, there's nothing wrong with it. It would speed it up, actually.
No, I don't think so. But no, I actually don't agree with the idea of a company firing someone based on their race. I don't agree with that idea.
No. Do you think they should have that right?
Discrimination. That's discrimination.
Should they have the right to? I'm not saying you agree with it or not. You don't even think they should have the right to fire people.
No. There's a difference between hire and fire, though. I don't think you should fire someone based on their race, but I think that you should be allowed to not hire someone based on their race.
I think
oh, you are weird. Okay, that's a whole different.
I think that this topic ties in really well with affirmative action, right? Everyone's under the assumption that right now there's no discrimination. We don't look at race when hiring people. Which we do. So that's exactly what affirmative action is. A lot of schools are practicing the idea that we do accept you based on your race, right? We do need 10% of our class to be Indigenous. We do need 15% of our class to be African American.
No.
So are you guys okay with that? Because you're saying
no, because it's racist. It's a racist policy.
But according to like our initial preposition, it's freedom. It's their freedom to hire or accept whoever they want, whether it be based on race or not.
No, but that's not the same thing though, because affirmative action is based on government law. It's based on legislation, not based on company free choice.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any government legislation that says certain schools have to accept this many people.
Actually, there is in certain states. California has legislation like that. Oregon, Washington, New York has legislation.
Really? Like that. There's like a law that says like state schools or schools that are receiving government funding have to accept a certain.
In California, yeah.
Oh, that's very backwards.
Well, no, I know, but there's no law in California that says you have to have 12% black people in your schools. It doesn't say something like that.
Yeah, that's what
it says like you should try to get in. It's like a recommendation, but almost like a law recommendation. It's like you should try to get more. No, you're not completely wrong. No, you're just there's no like set thing. Because in Canada, our prime minister did something stupid where he literally said 50% of my cabinet must be women. That's what he said. Must.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. But like, I can tell you, the company I work for right now literally has like percentages on hiring quotas, like in terms of race, like in order to get more diversity.
Exactly. See, that's an issue, and to me, that does slow down economic progress. Obviously, because you're literally placing less importance on people's skills and merits, and more important on their color and race.
Yeah, correct.
So that's the issue. Now, there should be limits on both sides, though. I don't think, first of all, there should ever any government building or government public office or public transport, any of that should ever have any laws based on race or sexual orientation, or let's just call them arbitrary characteristics, because I don't want to repeat everyone all the time. So characters that you have that you didn't choose. You didn't choose to be gay. You didn't choose to be born in this country. You didn't choose to be this color. You didn't choose to be tall, short, white, black. You didn't choose that. So just let's call it arbitrary. So obviously, I don't think any government, and I think everyone here agrees with me. There's no government, no public building, no public transport should ever discriminate based on that.
Of course.
Okay, good. Shazani, you agree, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Slows down progress.
So government. Now, when it comes to private companies, I think it's okay for private companies to do that, and I think it's their stupidity if a company says, oh, Sonny, you seem like a wonderful dentist, but unfortunately your skin color is too dark for us, so no. Then that's their stupidity. They would lose an amazing dentist like Sonny. So that's their idiocy of choosing based on race. But I think they should have the right to do that.
Wait. You weren't arguing this earlier. Like when I talked with you this earlier, you were against this idea. I was arguing this point.
No, I think what Ali's saying is, I think he's saying that it's not a smart thing to do, but if you hire based on race, which Andrew, you said, that is your freedom of expression or freedom of speech.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think you should, but you should be allowed to.
Yeah, but I think it plays in both ways. Like, if you want affirmative action, that I think, even though I disagree with it, I think that is a freedom of expression.
Right. Now, here's the other issue.
No. But affirmative action is based on legislation. It's not based on the freedom of individual companies to decide how they hire or how they fire.
I think affirmative action is purely based on individual schools or organizations.
No. Affirmative, no. Sunny. Affirmative action is when the government forces companies to hire.
Not necessarily. No,
I know, but that's what we're saying. So in general, if a company wants to have a diverse employee, that's their choice. But I'm saying government shouldn't tell companies to have a diverse.
Yeah. There's the distinction. Exactly.
At least in Canada, I'm not aware of the government legislating private companies to do that. But if they are, I think that's very, very wrong. That's
exactly
a very bad direction.
And like I said, there's like Ali said earlier, there's not like specific percentages you have to hit, but the government recommends that you diversify, right? And like companies like Apple, Google, they're doing this. And they're doing it of their own accord because they're international companies, right? So they're saying, oh, we need more minorities to work for us so that we look better in the media, right? Which I think is their choice. They should be allowed to do that. That's affirmative action within a private company. I support that, but I don't support the idea of affirmative action legislated by government.
Yeah, no, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
different.
It literally takes us back in time, right? Where the government is discriminating based on race. That's literally taking us back in time. I think
correct. Yeah, that's why I don't support government doing it. But if you're a private corporation, you should be allowed to do whatever you want.
Exactly, totally and that's why again we call them the regressive left, because the left is not being as progressive. This is actually a conversation Andrew and I were having on the server was between the left and the right, and like technically speaking, when you say progressive, people assume you're left wing, but nowadays the left wing is the most anti-progressive thing ever. They're anti-free speech. They're anti what's called hiring, like they're anti-capitalism, which is also a very progressive move.
Yep.
And yeah, they're anti a lot of good things that many 50 years would say you're extremely progressive.
Well, the discussion we were having was on economics versus social issues. So I don't want to really get into it because it's not the topic of the conversation. But I want to make a quick point, which is that you can be progressive in a social issue, say abortion, and you can be conservative economically. Like you could be pro-life conservative, right? Or you could be pro-choice communist, right? But you can't be a communist capitalist. There's no such thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So progressive literally only matters in terms of social issues. Well, it matters in terms of economics as well, but you can only be, it's like, it's one dimensional for economics. It's multiple dimensional for social issues.
Well, yeah, that is true. No, that does make sense. And that's the funny part is, if nowadays I say, I believe government shouldn't tell us what we can or can't say.
I agree.
I sound like a hardcore conservative, like I'm saying you should have free speech. That's all I'm saying.
No, you don't sound like a hardcore conservative. You sound like a reasonable person.
Well, yeah, but that's the funny. In Canada, it's the conservatives that are the free speech party, not the liberty party, which is just ironic. It's just I thought liberalism were the classic liberals. I thought they were the one who came up with the idea of free speech. How come it's the conservatives nowadays who are talking about free speech?
It's important to understand that the entire reason that Trudeau was able to pass the compelled speech law is because there was a good amount of support in Canada. And people that do support that bill, their main argument is that, hey, it's a very minor thing. It's not going to do anything. But anyone that studies history knows that it works in a trend, right? First, you compel speech, then it's censorship of media, then it's indoctrination in schools. And so they don't understand how big of an issue it can be. And I think that's the problem with the left.
You're absolutely right.
They don't have historical context, and they look at things from a surface. And I think anyone that knows how Nazi Germany operated over like a period of 5-10 years, that's a trend they went in. They started off small and then they normalized it. And
it's always the staircase of tyranny. It always starts with a few steps, and that's the thing. I'm actually surprised that there are people surprised that Trudeau said there's limits to free speech. We knew Trudeau was anti-free speech. I'm not that surprised.
The only thing that surprises me and makes me angry is how confidently he said it in broad daylight.
Well, give me a second, guys. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, Ali. I don't know how much time we have left in the stream, but I think a lot of Americans don't know exactly what a compelled speech law is. Do you want to maybe look at it, like how severe or how inconsequential it is?
Well, basically, we have a few compelled speech laws. Well, no, we have a few anti-free speech laws. One of them, Bill C-16, which the bill is now, it's a law. It's no longer a bill that's going through legislation. By 2018, it became law. And Bill C-16 is where you have to call transgender people by their preferred pronouns. Now, obviously, accidentally doing it, I haven't seen anybody getting arrested for accidentally doing it, but it's like refusing to do it is punishable. And now the defenders of Bill 6 will say, "Oh yeah, but we're not going to put you in prison. It'll just we'll just have to teach you or fine you." I'm like, okay, what if I refuse to go to this to pay the fine, and what if I refuse to go to the classrooms where you guys teach me about it? Jail. So it is jail. Literally, it is literally a law that if I don't do it, I go to jail. And yeah, sure. If I don't pay the fine, which I'm not going to pay the fine, so I'll go to jail. And then we have other. Do you want to say something?
Yeah. No, finish off.
I was supposed to, and then there's another one called Motion 109. But I want you to finish the Bill C-60.
Okay, so in regards to Bill C-16 specifically, a lot of people argue that hey, it's very inconsequential because essentially nobody's ever been indicted under it. Okay.
One guy in Alberta has, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that is that if nobody's indicted under it, why do you need it? Right? It costs money to maintain bills. It costs money to pay people in legislature to kind of push those motions forward. And so, is the bill really doing more good than harm? So I just think there's not that many intelligent arguments on the opposite side for defending this bill.
No, and it's usually the irony of it. This is not one of those left wing versus right wing, progressive versus conservative issue, because you're literally fighting free speech versus not free speech. Those are never. It's never good to be on the side of the anti free speech. Which is why right now Justin Trudeau is the first prime minister in 60 years to not get the popular vote. See, I know Americans, you guys had that happen like 4 times or 5 times, but Canada, that never happens. And it's super rare. We've had it twice in our whole history, and one of them is Trudeau. So this is, it's only going to go downhill for Trudeau, and I doubt he will survive until his next election. And we shall see what happens in the next few years. Personally, I've said this before. If Biden wins in America, he wins all 3 chambers, the House, the Senate, and the presidency. I guarantee you by 2022, there will be a civil war in America, and 100% it will spill into Canada. Because Canada there's already a couple thousand Canadians that are very angry at Trudeau, and they've already said, specifically with the gun legislation, that he said, Trudeau better take this from our cold, dead hands. So our seeds are already there. It's just waiting for a spark. Personally, I don't think a civil war will happen because I don't think Biden's going to sweep this election. So it's mostly we'll see what happens in Canada.
Well, the Democrats are trying to pack the courts right now, but
yeah. So no, we shall see. I doubt he'll sweep the thing though. But either way, both countries. The thing with Canada is that our citizens aren't as well armed as you guys. So the difference is,
true.
If America's citizens are in a war or a thing, that's easily going to spill to Canada, and then Canada could take advantage of that and, make it a bigger explosion. I think the issue is because Canadians aren't that armed. Like by 2022, I want to say this for a different stream, but let's just put this for the stream on November 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll follow the results. Please join us.
Okay.
Alyssa Lar, you better come.
Okay, coming back to free speech, do we all agree that free speech has limits, or are you guys absolutist when it comes to free speech?
Well, the only limits was the genocide limit, which basically you can't say you're going to go kill people. You can't say you're going to genocide people because that's a call to action. That's not a speech. And also, when it comes to the boy who cried wolf argument, that one, again, I believe that the government shouldn't punish you, but I think people should have the right to sue you if you're spreading lies about a company like
defamation, essentially.
Okay, so should a company...
defame. That's the one free speech that I actually would, the anti-free speech that I would agree with.
So should a private company, not the government, be allowed to, for example, a social media company like Twitter or Facebook, should they be allowed to censor a certain political ideology?
See, now, Sonny, that is a very complicated question.
I have been thinking about it for a long time.
I have too, because it depends on whether you define that platform as a platform or a publisher. If they're a publisher, then yes, they're held to free speech. If they're a platform, then opposite way around. My bad. If they're a publisher, then they should be allowed to censor because it's their publishing company. If they're a platform, then no. They shouldn't be allowed to censor anything because they're simply a platform for free speech. So it depends on how you define them.
So one thing I was thinking about was I don't know if Twitter or Facebook are private companies because we know they're in bed with the government. Several Democratic politicians have donated to Facebook and vice versa. Facebook has donated.
Everyone does this. So Lockheed Martin does this. Raytheon does. All these defense corporations, they do the same thing.
Exactly. So if you're in bed with a government, I think the government is censoring. It's not.
I agree, which is why I want less government. If government is less powerful, you get less lobbying and you get less corruption overall. Like, that's the problem with capitalism, is that everything is for sale, including the government itself.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
that's the issue with pure capitalism, is that everything is for sale. No, you're totally right on that. That's why I still am very pro-capitalism, but I do believe in two places regulation is required, and that's one is the environment, and the second place is the power of this censorship.
Well, and I think economic regulation as well, because you can have a small government and have a laissez-faire capitalist system that would completely fail.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about monopolies, aren't you?
Correct.
Okay. Well, the thing is, though, when it comes to enforcing free speech, I do think if you talked to me 2 years ago, I would have said no, government shouldn't be involved. But with the genocide of free speech that Twitter and Facebook are doing to the right wing, yeah, I do think the government should enforce free speech onto its platforms.
It depends on how you define those. If they're platforms, then there should be no censorship. If they're private publishers, then yes, they can censor all they want. But I personally don't think that Facebook and Twitter are publishers, because you publish your own words on their site. You simply use them as a platform. They're not a private publisher. There should be no censorship happening on Facebook or Twitter, in my personal opinion.
No, but I agree with you. Yeah, that's the thing, because you publish things on that, so they shouldn't be able to control what information gets. They are the public square.
Exactly, they're a platform. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So they're the ones, like, and the sad thing is, like 2 years ago, I thought we could fight them, and maybe we could try to like bring up another website, like Minds.com, which you guys should follow me. Minds.com, AliAlexisRG, BitChute,
right?
And yeah, Minds.com and BitChute are the only ones that are. Or Parler. Parler's really good too.
People would argue 4chan is also free speech, but we know how toxic
it's weird. I know, that's the weird part. But see, I thought they can. But then,
pretty damn close, but
no. But I saw Facebook and Twitter were like paying some other internet service providers not to allow BitChute and Minds.com and Parler on their website. I was like, okay, these guys are literally fighting.
That's the problem with monopolies, man. Monopolies are tyranny in an economic sense.
They are, and that's the truth. That's what government should. Again, 2 years ago, I would have said, no, you're crazy. We don't need government. We'll just fight them in the free market. But no, they're slaughtering us. No, we need the government.
It's not how that works. That's why you need regulation on monopolies, because a laissez-faire cap. This is why I always say you can't have a free market. It doesn't exist. It's never existed. All these anarchists, they can't come up with good points to this, because if you have a laissez-faire capitalist system, you get monopolies, obviously, right? Like Facebook, Twitter, etc. And then if you legislate against those monopolies, then you also don't have a free market system because of government interference in the market. So there's no such thing. It doesn't exist.
Well, the issue is there is such thing as free market, but I'm just saying it's not a good system.
No. There literally is no such thing, because you get monopolies. If you have a completely free market, you get monopolies which oppose that free market. So it's no longer free.
Oh, okay. So you're saying there's only like a brief 5-minute period that there's a free
Correct.
market, and
exactly. Over the long term, it literally cannot exist.
I know, and that's the issue. That's the one thing that maybe actually, this quote, I was going to say the Europeans said this, but no, actually, it was our own Prime Minister Harper. He was one of the best conservative leaders Canada's ever had.
Correct.
And what Harper did was really smart, because one of the interviews I saw with Harper said, "I'm sorry, Americans," because Americans are always like the ones, I don't like no government in my. He's like, "I'm sorry, American conservative, but you need to have some regulations by the government in your system. You can't have this whole idea, this conservative American conservative wet dream of, oh yeah, I don't want no government in." No, you need to have some, because then if you have none, the monopoly, they were literally one of the companies will just become the government and take over the stuff.
Agreed.
That's the issue. That's the one thing. I hate socialists with a passion, but that's the one thing the socialists are right about, is that you do need some regulation. You
Well,
can't
they go
just-
too
you're-
far with it, but
Well, well, yeah, they do.
but
But yeah,
yeah.
in a weird way, I guess we don't completely disagree with Trudeau, but actually no, we do, because Trudeau said none of this in his limits for free speech. He was asked about the cartoonist, a cartoon, and he said, "Oh, there's limits to free speech." He was shown a cartoon, and he said, "There's limits to free speech." No one here mentioned cartoon. Everyone here was only talking about very specific stuff, like very horrible stuff like genocide and war. Trudeau was shown a cartoon, and he said, "There's limits of free speech." That's not a limit.
I mean, Ali, I agree with what you said earlier in the stream, which is when you have the option between free speech and no free speech, always choose free speech.
Yeah, exactly. Always.
Because-
If you're confused, go with the free speech.
Because as Andrew mentioned, even with the Facebook and Google or Twitter example, they don't really fall under the exception because, like we said, they're not entirely private. And I think they're publishers, Andrew. They're publishers, or what?
Well,
category they fall under?
if you think they're publishers, then you should support censorship on their platforms.
Listen,
Oh, no, they're not. They're platform. They're not publisher. They're platform.
what tips me over the edge is they're not a private company. They're not a private group. They're
Then
heavily
you
embedded
think
with the
they're
government.
platforms, not publishers. Then
Yeah, they're just listen. Whenever you're a private company, free speech, I'm all for it. And Google is not an exception because they're not entirely private.
They own literally the public square of the globe. The internet. When I was a kid, I used to think Google owns the internet, and that's not even stupid. Technically, Google owns most of the internet. Like,
They own this website.
yeah, I mean, listen, Silicon Valley, that 50-kilometer radius owns like most of the internet. Literally, Google, Twitter, Facebook,
well, actually,
Patreon, Apple,
not true.
everything except for porn is in that 50-kilometer radius.
No, Ali, you're actually wrong on that. So if you define internet as also the dark net and the deep web, no, Google owns probably less than 1%.
No, sorry, not just Google, but I'm saying all those companies together.
It's
Like Google,
probably
Facebook.
still less than 2-3%.
It's more than 50% of the internet.
No,
Google,
not even close.
Facebook,
Not even
Apple,
close, man.
Twitter, Patreon. These 5 companies own
No,
everything.
No,
except
you're
for
still
porn.
wrong. They own maybe more than 50% of the surface web, but they don't own even close to the amount.
Yeah,
of
no,
Oh,
Andrew's right.
okay.
No,
You know
Andrew's
some
right.
fucked up websites.
No. Andrew's right. Like the websites that Google shows are like less than 10% of the entire.
Yeah. It's not even close. Like you're talking hundreds of, like, potentially billions of sites on the dark web that aren't owned by anyone except who created them. Like, no, you're
And we have to understand the internet existed long before Google or Facebook did, and so all those websites that existed before that, that's still,
Only
that's still
10
part of
years.
the.
Only 10 years before
Well,
Google.
in comparison to how recent the internet is, that's a long time,
that is a long
I
time.
know.
right?
The world
So-
of...
But no, Google might be powerful on the surface web, but they are nothing compared to the amount of sites on the dark web. In fact, the dark web is 90% of the internet.
Okay, you gotta send me some links then. I'm curious what you really have seen in the dark web.
Well, I haven't seen shit. I don't go to shady sites because I'm not an idiot. But I'm just reporting you stats here.
No,
Okay.
Andrew's right. I just fact checked him. He's right. So the
Okay,
official
well-
figure is 4.5%. 4.5% of the internet's surface level web.
Okay, yeah, something like that. I said
No,
10, but
It's
I made
more
a rough
no, but I
guess.
guarantee you the websites, the companies that I said own at least 50% of the internet.
I know-
The surface web, not
They
on
own-
the internet. You can't say the internet. You have to say surface web.
No, the internet. They own the internet.
No, they
And
don't.
they own close to 100% of the influence. If we're talking about influence,
Well, the
over-
influential. Well, yeah, obviously, the influence wise, social media, like literally, what is social media? Like Instagram is literally under Facebook. WhatsApp is under Facebook, I think. All of these big
WhatsApp
social
is
media.
Apple, I thought.
Okay,
No,
Apple, whatever.
no.
No, but I'm saying, look, Facebook, Apple own everything.
except for Iran, Russia, and China, except for those 3 countries,
Yeah.
and North Korea.
Yeah. North Korea.
North Korea doesn't have internet. North Korea doesn't. They don't have. I doubt North Korea. Their regular citizens have internet.
Yeah, probably not.
And China has a great firewall of China. And same with Iran. Iran, you need to use a proxy server to access the internet. Most of the websites are banned.
Russia as well.
Really?
Yeah, they have their own private servers, so people
didn't know
use VPNs to access like our global internet.
Well, I browse the internet on VPN, so I don't have a problem accessing any of those countries. But
Wow, you're so cool. Well, either way, guys, thanks for watching.
shut up.
Check out our live stream. Please join us on our Discord. We're always active. We're literally, I would argue, we're the most active server that has less than 500 members, because literally somebody is on every day on our Discord server.
And we are the most diverse server in terms of thought. We have a lot of diversity in thought.
That's true. We do have, although there is a server called Politics, and they have like 200,000 members. They probably beat us there because they're literally. I feel like they have everybody.
Okay, any server less than like 10,000 members, we have.
Yeah. No, let's just be specific. Any server less than 10,000. No, even in terms of being active. No, seriously, any server less than 500. I think we're the most active server under 500 in Discord. Under 1,000 in Discord, because I'm in a lot of servers. I'm in a server that has 10,000 members and it's never on. I think it's probably because there's fake members. I don't know.
I mean, all three of us. Closing statement. All three of us would argue that we've learned tons from each other, and vice versa, because of the diversity of thought.
Exactly. And look at this. We got a Middle Eastern, an Indian, and a white guy. See, we have everybody except the Jews, just like how the world should be. Okay, thank you. For what?
No, we're gonna get flagged.
I'm kidding. No, anyone who knows me fucking knows I am a giant fan of the Jews. America.
Sundar Pichai, if you're watching this is a joke. He's the CEO of Google.
No, because I was gonna say, look, we got a white, Indian, and a Middle Eastern. We have everybody except for the Jews and the blacks.
And the Mexicans.
Who cares about the Mexicans?
Okay,
but Alyssa just joined us. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Again, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing a 24-hour stream from the day of the election until the day after the election.
Well, wait, let me get my closing statement in real quick.
Go ahead.
All right. Vote gold. There you go.
Vote gold.
What does that mean?
If you know, you know.
Whoa, that sounds like a Nazi thing.
Vote gold.
Stop it.
I'm serious. Last time I was on a website and someone said, if you know, you know. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I started Googling and I was like, oh my God, that's a Nazi symbol. I didn't even know that. I was like, oh God.
Gold is libertarian, bro. Like, come on.
I was
That dumb.
kidding, but I actually didn't know that. Thank you for letting me.
There you go.
Okay, have a nice day. Sunny, you want to close this up?
Yes, Viad Persian. Okay, I'm done.
I was actually, my head was like, Chala chanya. I was thinking that.
This stream is done. This stream is
You
done.
went with that.
All right. I'm out.
Oh,
guys.
you know, we should watch that GDP video maybe before we close.
No, stop it with that.
I gotta do anything other than that.
I'd
That
literally
GDP
rather like shank myself than watch that again.
24-hour stream. We're looking forward to it. Join us.
I can't wait. I'm actually excited. 7 p.m.
I'm gonna be there. I'll be there.
Is it
7 p.m.
literally? So because most of the
I'll
YouTube stuff.
not be there all 24 hours, but I'll be there at least.
No, we're doing 7 p.m. on election day, so it's like we've already it's only going to be 5 hours left of the election day anyway. Because from 7 p.m. till 12, the election day will be done.
Yeah, I'm leaving at 12. I have to work on Wednesday, so.
Exactly. Oh, I don't have to work on Wednesday.
Damn it. Can you run the stream from like 6 a.m. Tuesday to like 6 a.m. Wednesday? That way I can get most of it.
No, but you'll be there, though. You'll be there for the AM part.
How many viewers do we have? I feel bad for them.
Well, now we have only 2 left, so we're dead. Actually, I think one of them